Brahma Gurur Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam Trilokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vedya Dravidam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Jai Guru Yatha Sarvani Bhutani Pratibhanti Stithani Cha Yatraivo Bhashamam Yanti Tasmai Satyatmane Namaha. So we finished our story of the wise ascetic talking to Ashtavakra in the court of King Janaka, and finished that story. So where are we tonight, Mark?
This is Yoga Vasishtha, right?
Pardon me?
We're doing Yoga Vasishtha?
Yes.
Yes, we're in Yoga Vasishtha.
Right, okay. So I was.
Did I have the wrong story? I'm teaching so many texts.
I think you were talking about Ashtavakra Gita.
No, never mind.
We're on chapter 9, verse 27-28.
Chapter 9, verse 27-28. Is Ganesh here?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here, Jim.
Would you help us out, please?
Okay, so we are in the story of Shambhara.
That's right. That's right. So what we've had so far is Shambhara, who's the king of the demons, creates these Terminator demons to fight with the Devas. They are without ego. So the Devas go to Brahma, the creator, who says, what you do, fight with demons, then run away, do it over and over again. And then what happens is the super demons start thinking about their success, what we call chintya, after the fact, mental rumination. And once they do that, ego developed. Once ego developed, they had fear, bhaya. Once they had fear, the Devas could defeat them. So Shambhara, he's pretty pissed off. So let's see what his solution is for the second time. Did we get to the part where he did the Terminator 2 demons yet?
Yeah, I think we got to the part where so the previous verse, now I shall tell you what was done by Shambhara thereafter, thinking that even Dhamma and others were vanquished in battle by the Suras or gods on account of their egotism. He created by his illusory power were persons who were knowers of the scriptures, devoid of false ideas, endowed with discrimination and with egoism.
Yes. So what they have is what Gita calls jnanam vijnanam cha. They not only have the direct experience of their essential nature, but they have understanding. So when egoism may tend to arise, they have the tools to dismiss it. Things like you can't think a real thought. No personal sense of self is real. The past is nothing but memory. Stay in the now. The future is just imagination. Stay in the now. All right, going on.
Sarvagnya Vedyavetara Jara Marana Nirbhaya Bhimo Bhaso Kridascheti Nama Bhajo Hite Bhavan. They who knew everything, who had understood what ought to be understood, and who were free from the fear of old age and death, had indeed the names Bhima, Bhasa, and Drida.
And is there a note about the meaning of those names?
Yeah. Note, the names of the above three, as well as the former three who were egotistic, appear to have relevance of the narrative. The former names translated are rope, fierce beast of prey, and corpse. The latter mean the formidable, lustre, and the firm.
Yes, yes. So these are illumined demons. Now there's a little side story here. You don't have to have the karma of being some ascetic living high in the Himalayas. We have all sorts of wonderful stories in Tripura Rahasya. No, it's in this text too. We have Karkati, the fat demoness who gets enlightened. So here we have three demons, asuras, who are enlightened. They're heading off to fulfill their nature, their prakriti, to do battle with the devas. So let's see what happens.
Vitaragai gatadveshaiः satatam samadrishtibhi प्राप्तार्थकारिभिः भीमैः वर्तमानानुवर्तिभिः देवसेना हता भूय जगाम sharanam harim. The army of the Devas was again destroyed by Bhima, Bhasa, and Drida, who were free from passion, whose hatred had departed, who were always endowed with equal vision, who brought about the proper end or aim, who were formidable, and were faithful to or conforming to contemporary situations. They, the demigods, took refuge in Hari, Vishnu the sustainer.
So the devas try their trick again. Running away didn't work. So they are vanquished by these formidable demons. So the idea here is you can move through life in virtually any occupation. Now, in the Buddhist traditions, we have this whole notion of right livelihood. You should espouse nonviolence, etc. Hinduism is not a nonviolent religion. There's all sorts of warrior kings, all sorts of enlightened warriors doing their duty. So you and I, Swamiji used to call Gita's the story of the man of knowledge downtown. You can work in IT in Silicon Valley and still be a person of steady wisdom. Or a doctor. Or do social justice. Or it may be given you to leave the world and be a monastic. That's all karma. But for these three, this is their duty. This is that for which they were made. So the devas are getting their butts whooped. So they go to Vishnu. What are we gonna do? The balance of heaven and is being upset. The war between the demons and the devas is being lost. Let's see what happens.
चक्रेणाथ हतास्तेन संगरे वृषदारुणे निर्वासना महात्मान पराम शांतिमुपागताः. Then they, Bhima, Bhasa, and Drida, were killed by him, Vishnu, with his chakra or wheel-like weapon in a very fierce fight. Those great souls, devoid of mental impressions, went to the state of supreme tranquility.
Yes. So Lord Vishnu comes down and he has his super weapon, his discus, his chakra, and the demons may have been able to overwhelm the devas, but not Lord Vishnu. So he kills them. And what happens to them? They are liberated. Because they were without ego, without vasana. The mental impressions were gone. So again, this idea doesn't matter where you die, in what circumstances. There's lots of tradition. Oh, I want to die next to the Ganges River, etc. I want to die in the first half of the month rather than path of the smoke and the moon, the latter half of the year. In the end, it doesn't matter. So let's see what happens next.
Tasmat vasanaya baddham muktam nirvasanam mana samyagalokanat satyat vasana praviliyate. Therefore, the mind is bound by mental impressions and set free by the absence of mental impressions. Mental impression melts away by proper perception and by meditation on truth.
Yes. So the word he's using here is vasana. Vasana, again, is a subset of sanskara. Or the Pali, the word is sankara. So they're not inherently bad, sanskaras. That's how you know things are things. How do you know this is a table or a chair? Those are impressions. Fundamentally, they do not cause us to suffer. It's the subset of I-ness and minus. I have done this thing. This object belongs to me. This situation made me happy. This situation made me unhappy. All that I-ness and minus. And then after the fact, oh, that was really wonderful. I want to do that again. Or the opposite, that was terrible. I'm never going to do that again. These leave a vasana in the mind. And just like the silkworm spinning its cocoon, each one of these vasanas is like a thread. And over millions of lifetimes, they encrust the mind. We no longer have the realization, the apprehension of our essential nature. All the various branches of yoga, all the spiritual traditions only have one goal, which is the removal of vasana. How do you do it? Well, we have the preliminary exercises, chanting the name of the Lord, doing prayers, having great moral conduct, a pure lifestyle, ritual if you're involved in that. These are all preparatory. If you're again a Raja Yogi doing asana, pranayama, etc. But they all mature into viveka, vairagya cha. Viveka, that firm conviction in the intellect that Brahman alone is real. The ground of being is real. And the phenomenal world, the Jagat, meaning my own body, mind, intellect, a personal sense of self, and all phenomenology is mithya, illusion. We can start by seeing that it's impermanent. Then we move to a deeper level to see that it is fundamentally like a dream, seen but not real. And that's followed by vairagya, that desire to give up attachment to all experiences gained through the senses, good ones and bad ones. And the desire to renounce any personal sense of self, starting with identification with the body, up to including the sense that I am Brahma, I am a powerful being. Those two simple practices form the cornerstone of sadhana. Watch our minds. Notice when I get disturbed. Always, if I get disturbed, I'm the one with the klesha, the affliction, the defilement. It's never out there. What do I do about it? Let go. Keep your heart open. And do the next right thing. As paranoid self-observation arises in the mind, how am I doing? What do they think of me? Am I okay? Don't try to secure ego through reframing. Well, I'm really not a terrible person. They're just projecting. It may be true at one level, but it's an effort to protect the small sense of self that everything just passed through. No personal sense of self is real. And we do this over and over and over. Next verse.
Vasana vilaye cheta shamyatya sneha deepavat asya samsara dukkhasya sarvopadravakarina upaya eka evasti manasasvasya nigraha On the dissolution of mental impressions, the mind is extinguished like a lamp without oil. There is only one remedy for the pain of this worldly existence, which causes all trouble. That is the restraint of one's own mind.
Yes. So again, those of us who study Yoga Sutra, the second sutra, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. What is yoga? Yoga is the restraining of the mind stuff from forming these whirlpool-like configurations. In the beginning, we deal with thought replacement. If we're habituated into selfishness and fear and dishonesty, greed, we practice the yamas and niyamas, truthfulness, straightforwardness, purity, non-injury, etc. Then we work not on just moving from negative thoughts to positive thoughts, but we reduce the frequency and volume of thought. So pure water is not better water. Pure water is where the impurities have been removed. So we reduce the frequency and the volume of thought. Put your mind where your hands are working. And when story arises, gently but firmly bring your mind back to your point of attention. Finally, when the mind has attained some chitta shuddhi, some purity of mind, we start introverting the attentive faculty, the mind's eye, as it were. Start looking for the source of the mind. Who am I? I've got my body, I've got my feelings, I've got my thoughts, I've got any of the ego ideas. Who am I? This is the process that destroys the tyranny of the mind bound ignorance. Any thoughts on this? Next verse.
भोग्येच्छा मात्रको बन्ध तत्यागो मोक्ष उच्यते मनसोऽभ्युदयो नाश मनोनाशो महोदय. The desire of enjoyment is only bondage. The renunciation of that is called liberation. The rising of the mind is destruction. The destruction of the mind is great elevation or beyond.
Oh, beautiful paradoxes here. So the person in ignorance is unhappy, dukkha, and convinced the reason I'm unhappy is that I don't have what I want, or the people around me aren't behaving right, or I'm not good enough, the world's not good enough. And the mind, the egoistic, ignorant mind, says, fix the world, fix me, and struggle. Yoga says we are suffering not because we don't have what we want, but because we're stuck wanting. So the yogi begins to develop the desire to be free from desire. This is Vairagya. I've given up the game. What's wrong is I just don't have the right boyfriend or girlfriend or job or house. The politics aren't right. The weather isn't right. No, I begin to work on letting go, seeing that it's the desiring itself, the kama, the attachment, the sangraha, that's causing my suffering. Now listen carefully. Most of us are willing to try to renounce a worldly event where we're suffering. I'm so lonely and I'm trying to let it go. The key is where we got attached was on the positive side. Oh, I've fallen in love. Oh, it's so great. This is the answer. And then when it changes, because it always does, then I suffer. So the hard part, cherish the world. There's nothing wrong with the world. And it's all God. It's all Hana. Go, let go. We practice stepping back, taking on the position of the witness, Sakshibha. You can't just renounce the suffering. We have to renounce our attachment to the world. Some of these we do through the school of hard knocks. We beat our heads against a brick wall long enough. Okay, I'm done. Others we can do through insight. No, I don't want to go down that road. I see other people do it and I don't want what they have. And it's hard because we get no support for this in the world outside. So in Vivekachudamani, Adi Shankara says, he who can argue for the scriptures and refute arguments against them. Does that mean you go to parties and argue scripture? No. Where does the argument take place? In my own mind. Everything. Oh, play in the stock market. Can you short the stocks and make some more money? Oh, all my friends are doing startups. I need to start a startup. Oh, they're going on a ski trip to Switzerland. Oh, that sounds like so much fun. Nothing wrong with ski trips in Switzerland. But if we have attachment, we suffer. Doesn't matter how much meditation we do, how much pranayama we do, how much ritual we do, how pure our diet is. If we're still attached to the world. Shankara says it's like trying to cross the river and you see a log that you could hold on to cross the river. And then once you grab the log, you realize it's a crocodile. The graha, which then grabs us, holds and sinks. So we don't need to renounce desire and then go through some other process to realize our essential nature. All we need to do is let go of the world, and the prakash, the light of pure awareness, starts to reveal itself very naturally. All right, next verse.
Jiva Virbhava, the manifestation of the individual soul. Yatha Sarvagata Saukshmya Akasho Nopalakshyate Tatha Niramsha Chidbhavaha Sarvagopina Lakshyate. Just as the all-pervading ether is not comprehended because of its subtlety, so also the state of pure consciousness, which is whole or without parts, is not apprehended, though all-pervading. Note, space is believed to be pervaded by a subtle, imponderable medium called the ether, not only by philosophers, but also by scientists.
So I would worry about that. I disagree with him. Akash means space. So try this exercise. Put your finger about 2 feet, 3 feet in front of your face. Now focus on where your finger is. Now remove your finger and try to stay focused on that spot. See how hard that is? It is very difficult to notice space itself. We're built to notice the things in space. Space is everywhere. We may notice it like if we've been inside all day and we go outside and all of a sudden I sense a much greater expansiveness around me. Oh, yes, it's so nice to be outside. The sky is so blue. I'm noticing spaciousness. But we don't think about it too frequently. Now, yourself, the self, with a capital S, is everywhere and always and changeless and you. I like to say the self is difficult to realize, not because it's far away or the result of some wackadoodle mind state. It is because of its profound ordinariness. It is so ordinary, so common. I mean, the worldly example I like to give way back in the 70s, I don't know if you ever did this. They used to have what we called samadhi tanks. They were sensory deprivation tanks. Did you ever play with one of those?
Never did.
But they're like a pod. And it was completely black inside, dark, and the water was 98.6. So it deprived you of all your senses. And you'd get in those, and after a while, your heartbeat was just thunderously loud. Now your heart's beating all the time. Your heart did not beat louder in the sensory deprivation tank. What we did was remove all the other stuff. So we have a problem here, and it's how we know things. The vast majority of our knowing is through compare and contrast. That is a table. Knowing that is a table is partly knowing it's not a chair. This is a chair, that's a table. That's a lamp. The lamp is not the chair, it's not the table. Compare and contrast. That's how we learn to discern this and that. But there's another kind of knowing, the knowing of distillation. We can't use compare and contrast with the self because your self never shuts off. Nobody's ever had an experience of no self, even if you're a Buddhist. You may have an experience of no ego, but the ground of being is a constant. But the other method of knowing is the method of distillation. So if I have 3 glasses of water with red food coloring, blue food coloring, yellow food coloring, and my question is, what is the color of pure water? Well, I get out my Brita water filter, or I guess the really good one's the no filter, right? No, something like that, the Brita. So you put the water, each one through the Brita water filter. You remove the red, the blue, and the yellow food coloring. Oh, water is colorless. So that's the methodology for knowing myself. I remove from my attention all the malam, the dirt, all the knowable, the vishaya. If it has a beginning and an end, if it occurs in the waking dream and deep sleep state only, if it has qualities, if it has characteristics, if it's in the phenomenal world, if it's in the emotional world, if it's in the mental intellectual world, that's not it. Not iti, not this. So when I withdraw my attention from the knowable, there's nothing left. But that which is the knower of the knowable. Your eye, E-Y-E, your eyeball is one. I see the table, the chair, the lamp. They are all different, but the eyeball is one. The various senses are different. Hearing, tasting, touching, smelling. What did I miss?
Seeing.
Seeing. but the mind that receives them is one. The various thoughts, memories, images are all different. But the intellect in which they appear is one. Where does the buck stop? What is that by which everything is known, without which nothing can be known? Beyond which there's nothing to know. So you will never see the self as an object. Oh, Jim, I dropped LSD and I had an experience of the self. You having it right now? Oh, I don't know what you saw, but you haven't realized the self. Once you see what it is, what you see is it's always here. It's you. When are you ever not you? Now, my problem is I superimpose on that direct experience the qualities of the mind. So I think I am happy, I am sad, I am good, I am bad. And those are just opinions of the mind, the activities of the body. It's all knowable stuff. Never the nature, the knower. Don't believe me. We can always take our study back to these four Mahavakyas, these great utterances that we get, one from each one of the Vedas. The first, Prajnanam Brahma. Brahman is consciousness. Brahman is awareness. Brahman is sentience. Is it out there in the sky? I am Atma. This self is Brahman. Oh, I get it. Guruji, you're the self, I'm a worm. No. Tatvam asi. You. Now, this third great utterance, Mahavakya, is called the Upadesha Mahavakya, the instructional one. All the various branches of yoga are indicated by that. Find out who you are, not just indirect knowledge. I read about it. I saw it on YouTube. And in the white heat of your own meditation. And then at the moment of realization, the yogi does not say, oh, I know Brahman now. I know Brahman. I'm realized. I'm enlightened. No. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. My essential nature. Chidakash, the space of pure awareness. Chidananda Rupaham. My nature is bliss consciousness. I'm not a person. I'm not the body. I'm not the personality. Those are things that pass in front of me, always change. And then here in this verse, we had the reference to a light, a lamp being blown out. This is an ancient, ancient metaphor. So the flame of a candle or a lamp is like the questing ego, this individual self, more, better, different. I'll be happy when, it'll be better if. Feeding on the fuel of sensory experience, caught up in the flame of desire. When I see I am a birthless, changeless, deathless reality, and that my nature is the fountainhead, the source of happiness for the mind. When the mind lets go of the world and comes home. Then all that struggling, that striving is blown out. And the word we use to describe being blown out is nirvana. The yogis used it long before the Buddhists did. Literally means blown out. It's not a place you go. Any thoughts on this? Next verse.
Saisha chit avinashyatma swatmeyatyadi kritabhida nastameti na chodeti no tishtati na tishtati na chayati na chayati na cheha na chaneha chit. That is this consciousness, the indestructible self, named by words such as inherent self. It does not vanish, nor does it appear. It does not raise itself from anything, nor is it at hand. It does not go and does not come either. It is not here, nor is it not here. It is pure consciousness.
Yes, it is my very self. Its nature is Satchidananda, existence, consciousness. No sorrow reaches there. Fundamentally different than that personal sense of self. I'm Jim, I do this and I don't do that. Has many, many names. In the end, it's Abhyapadesham, untalkaboutable. But always so eminently here. It's not an experience. You realize what you already have, who you already are. It's not a mind state. It's the deeply rooted conviction that I am Brahman, not through vain repetition, not from reading books, by direct experience. And once you see it, how could I have missed it? It's so obvious. And it's always there. It doesn't come and go. When are you ever not you? You just have to come to really see that I, that you are. It never changes. It doesn't need anything. Next verse.
राघवेयं प्रपञ्चेन जगन्नाम्ना विजृम्भते येन शब्दं रसं रूपं गन्धं जानासि राघव. Raghava, Rama. This consciousness manifests itself by the phenomenon called the universe, by which you know or are aware of sound, taste, form, and smell.
So, because of consciousness having an inherent Maya Shakti, this inherent power of imagination, this entire universe of name and form rises in it. Yet the ground of being undergoes no change. We have images or like the reflection in a mirror. The mirror undergoes no change no matter what's reflected in it. Or the various images in crystal. If I bring out my crystal ball, which is stone, it's quartz crystal, hold it up, you see images in it. The stone doesn't turn into the images. The stone doesn't manifest these images. The stone doesn't create the images. The stone just remains spatika ghanam, a homogeneous mass of crystal. Yet it has the nature of having images appear. So also all this is vijnana ghanam, a homogeneous mass of consciousness. The whole universe appears in it. Yet the ground of being, which is the only thing that really is, really wonderful meditation. In Gita, we have a term, we actually have a whole chapter titled Purushottama Yoga. Uttama Purusha. Uttama means ultimate. Purusha means person. What is the ultimate essence of personness? I'm a sensitive person. I'm a conscious being. Be nice to me. Oh, wait a minute. Let's really inquire. What about you is a being, is conscious, is sentient. If I really analyze it, all the knowables are jada, inert. They may wiggle, but they do not illumine themselves. But you are very different. You are. There's something very real. And you're conscious. You have being, Baba. And that's not the body. It's not the prana. It's not your feelings. It's not your thoughts. It's not an ego sense. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. But the mind, it's like if I go into the mirror and it falls and it cracks, I don't think, oh, my face is cracked. But you and I, when the body changes or the feelings change or the thoughts change, even though they are always objects of cognition, I think, I am getting fat. I am getting old. I am not sexy anymore. I am unhappy. I am successful. I am not successful. I am not valuable. All these are qualities of the body and of the mind, the intellect. Never accept. Next verse.
सोऽयमात्मा परं ब्रह्म सर्वमापूर्य संस्थितः द्वितीया कल्पनैवेह न रघूद्वः विद्यते ब्रह्ममात्राकृते वह्नौ औष्ण्यमात्राकृते यथा. That is this self, the supreme Brahman or ultimate reality, which stands filling up everything. Raghava, there is not even the formation or imagination of a second here in this universe without the one Brahman, just as there is nothing else imaginable in fire without mere heat.
Without, what was the last word?
Just as there is nothing else imaginable in fire without mere heat.
Oh, yes. So the heat and the fire are the same thing. So all this world is consciousness appearing as name and form. Easiest way to understand this is to go to the dream state. I like to say you are the god of your dream. And at night when you dream, you experience mini Maya. Your one mind, as it were, refracts into a dream body, which is a locus of perception. You have a dream ego identified with it. And then you see a world of name and form outside in the dream. And then you have thoughts and feelings and reactions inside in the dream. But the truth is, nothing in the dream is outside your mind. It's only chitta, the mind stuff, appearing as the triple factor, knower, knowing, and knowing. This is no different. The only difference is who is doing the dreaming. So if Mike has a dream, I, Jin, am not privy to it. But all this is Ishwara's dream. And Mike and Jim and Cedric and Ganesh and Mark are all characters in God's dream. But just like you are the self of the dreamer. You, meaning the infinite, is the self. The material cause of it all, the stuff out of which it's all made. So what? Don't worry. It's all going to be okay. What's real, the ground of being, our fundamental nature, never really undergoes a change. Next verse.
Adau shamadamaprayai gunai shishyam prabodayet paschat sarvamidam brahma shuddhastvam iti bodhayet. In the beginning, one should instruct the disciple in qualities like tranquility and self-restraint. Then one should instruct, all this is Brahman, the Supreme Spirit, you are holy.
So here, again, this is an abridgment in a very terse, almost like a haiku. We have this idea of the sequence of practice. It's not this or that. Bhakti yoga, that's better than jnana yoga. Or I'm into doing ritual, that's better than jnana, or jhana's better than doing ritual. No. First, then. So what is the first thing the guru should instruct the student in? Clean up your act. Start to live a sattvic life. And we have lots and lots of instruction in various ways. If you're interested in this, my favorite right now is the yamas and the niyamas that we find in Raja Yoga. External behavior and internal purity. Qualities like truthfulness, straightforwardness, non-injury, non-stealing. Purity, cleanliness. I think all of the moral precepts reduce themselves to one, and that is ahimsa. What does ahimsa mean? Non-injury, non-violence, non-harming. And it doesn't just mean don't harm other people. It also means never do violence to your own mind. I remember there was a particular person with whom I was working, And he was convinced that he had to beat himself up. Oh, you're terrible. How could you have done that? You're such an idiot. You're such a jerk, how stupid you are. And that's what motivated him to do better next time. It's violence. If you saw some woman saying that to a child in the supermarket, you'd be horrified. Do you talk to yourself with self-talk that's violent? Don't be a jerk. It goes a long way. Then subtler forms of this is what we call being adhikari, being a fit student, practicing what we talked about already, viveka and vairagya. Then there's a group of 6 of shama, etc., tranquility, learning, withdrawing our attention and energy. The 4th, a burning desire for liberation. And then devotion. You don't have to stand on street corners banging cymbals. You can be devoted to an ideal. The constant attempt to live up to your true nature is also considered devotion. Then, when the mind has developed what we call chitta shuddhi, some purity of mind, or a sattvic mind, then the teacher instructs the student in the truth. What is the truth? You are Brahman. This world is Brahman. It has all come about by means of imagination. Don't worry, it's all okay. Okay, what verse are we on for next week?
We just finished 39-40, so 40-41 is next week.
All right. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.